Jinandam, thank you so much for tuning in. Today's video, I wanted to talk to you all a little bit more about a subject that I touched on the other day, a very mystical topic and something that definitely makes my life living here as a sannyasi very juicy and very enjoyable. So I was sharing with you all about the powers that we are manifesting through our third eye, thanks to the initiation of my guru, Paramahamsa Sri Nityananda. So one of the powers that are being expressed right now, mostly by the Gurukul balasanths, actually so far only by the Gurukul balasanths, is through their third eye, they're able to access the Akashic Records. So the Akashic Records are the cosmic archives of all that has ever existed, is existing, and will ever exist. So basically, when we have any kind of a burning question about where should we, what path should we take in life, or perhaps we've even, we've lost something. We've lost maybe a pet, or we want to find out about a past life. We're not understanding why we seem to be stuck with a certain karma right now. We can ask these questions, and by accessing the cosmic archives, the balasanths can give us an answer. Like I said, it's extremely mystical. It's one of the most enjoyable experiences that I've had to date. And to give you a bit of an understanding of how they actually access the cosmic archives. So in Hinduism, we have a manifestation of Shiva known as Kalabhairava. So Kalabhairava is the Lord of Time. Kalabhairava, Shiva manifested himself as Kalabhairava in the city of Varanasi. So what happened is, in the city of Varanasi, Shiva gave a boon that whoever leaves the body in the confines of that city, they will achieve liberation. No matter what kind of a life they led, this was the loophole. No matter what kind of a life they led, even if it was an Adamic life, they would achieve liberation if they left the body in the city of Varanasi. So what happened is, the city of Varanasi, which was Shiva's beloved city, it was his place of residence, it was where he himself resided, started attracting all different kinds of people. So murderers and, like I said, all kinds of people that were not at all following the Dharmic way of life were going there and taking advantage of this boon, and then leaving the body with this context that they would achieve liberation. So Shiva decided that to put a stop to this, he would manifest himself as Kalabhairava. So Kalabhairava is known as a more ferocious form of Shiva, but the ferociousness is seen as a kind of compassion to the universe and to the beings that were living an Adamic life. So the purpose of him manifesting himself in a ferocious manner was so that these people that were living an Adamic life, when they left the body, they would experience such an excruciating pain, and it's said to last less than maybe half a second. And this is Kalabhairava's compassion for keeping the universe in balance. So obviously, if you're incurring such strong karma, you have Janmas and Janmas and Janmas to clear this karma. So there's some kind of an imbalance there. So out of this space, Kalabhairava would heal and liberate that soul the way it's meant to. And that way, the boon in Varanasi wasn't taken advantage of. So what these balasanths do is they connect with this energy of Kalabhairava. By connecting with Kalabhairava, the answers that we're seeking. So whatever it is that we're asking for example, we have a loved one that we've lost, and we want to find out their whereabouts. By looking through their third eye, the answer actually appears for the balasanths in golden script, and then they read the answer for us exactly as it's being shown to them through the third eye. So it's an extremely mystical experience. I actually went myself today, and I had a question that I was asking on behalf of a friend. See, they want to manifest their inner awakening. They're not sure of which inner awakening to go to, and they just needed some clarity and some guidance. So I asked on their behalf, and then Kalabhairava gave me the answer through the Gurukul balasanth. But then I was thinking, I feel like I want to also ask a personal question for myself, which I asked, and a lot of clarity was given, as it always happens. See, anytime that I've gone to an Akashic Records reading with any balasanth, I've always left in a space of completion. If there's anything in me that's feeling some form of incompletion, I'm guaranteed that in virtually no time, the answer will present itself to me, which gets me to a space of feeling like some healing has happened or some cognitive shift has happened, which I've needed. So in this particular instance, as I've finished my question, I've received the answer that I've wanted, and then I've bowed and I'm leaving, out of respect. The balasanth relayed a message to me, which was so beautiful. It's something every time we have a deity of Kalabhairava here in this Adinam. The moment you enter the Adinam gates, the moment you walk through, Kalabhairava is standing there. And he's one of the most powerful deities here. He's so beautiful to connect with. He's so alive. He's one of the most popular deities here. Any time of day you go there, they're guaranteed there'll be someone there sitting with Kalabhairava. So anytime I go and visit Kalabhairava, there's always one particular thing. I don't know if I want to call it a prayer, or it's just something that I ask him from my heart. No one knows this. It's not something that I've ever shared with anyone, but it's kind of like a personal message from me to him. And virtually every time I go, it's something that I always relay this message to him. So no one knows this at all. So today, as I was leaving, the balasanth has finished my reading for me, and then she looked at me and she passed on almost like a response to what it is that I've been saying to Kalabhairava. And it took me by such surprise. I really wasn't expecting it at all. I just I bowed again, gave my heartfelt thanks, and I walked away. So it's amazing how he has a way of just responding to you in exactly the way that you need. If it's something that you haven't experienced, I recommend that you, if you're in India itself, please come and visit the ashram, visit the Adinam, and come and visit the balasanths. You can actually have a live session with them where you can ask them anything about your past, present, and future. So many people have asked about their past lives, who they were. They've asked clarity about relationships. They want to know, is the person that they're with the one that they're meant to get married to? And believe it or not, many people have come here. They've asked questions as to, is the person that I'm with right now the one that I'm going to get married to? And they get varying answers from Kalabhairava, some which they're happy with and some which they're not happy with. It might not be an answer that they're expecting. One of the beautiful things about having Swamiji, an avatar, an incarnation of Shiva himself, is that he is the one and only person that can change the Akashic Records. So when we go for an Akashic reading, say for example, I'm asking something about my future. I want to know about a future outcome. The way Kalabhairava will read the answer for you is very much dependent on your cognitions and your inner space, your context for life as it is at the moment that you're asking the question. So based on your cognitions, there will be a default future. So this is, it's like a linear scope that he's looking through, and he's giving an answer dependent on that. As our cognition matures, or as our space changes, either for the better or the worse, this will then again affect our future outcome. So many people have asked me, they've come for Akashic readings, and Kala Bhairava has told them one thing, but it hasn't actually happened in that way. It's changed. And they want to know why is this? So in the Living Enlightenment book, actually, Swamiji shares a beautiful story about two brothers that go and visit a sage. And the sage warns them that yes, he will read their future for them, but it's not set in stone. It can change. So one elder brother asks about his future, and he's told that he'll become a king. The younger brother is told that he will leave the body in a year's time. And based on this information from the sage, based on what they're told, one brother falls into depression. The other brother, feeling all high and mighty that he's going to be a king in a year's time, starts living a life of, he's drinking alcohol, he's careless, he's haphazard, he's just living how he wants. The second brother, fearing that he's going to have a life which will end in a year's time, becomes very spiritual. And through that spiritual way of life, anyway, in the end, virtually what happens is the elder brother doesn't become a king because of his way of living, and the younger brother, he ends up living longer than the year. So actually, I'll share the link for the Living Enlightenment book, and I'll share the chapter where Swamiji shares this beautiful, beautiful story. So in this same way, our future isn't exactly set in stone. But if we're stuck in a kind of cognitive rut, if we're stuck in a cognition which is just so strong, then we can see that it's a default future. The only person that has the capacity to change this future is an avatar. So many people have gone and, like, for example, someone was told that they would be marrying a certain person, and they weren't happy with that. They wanted a different outcome. During Energy Darshan, they went and they visited Swamiji, and they left on a piece of paper saying that this is what they were told in Akashic reading. This is the outcome they were told, but they want this particular outcome. And Swamiji looked at the note and he said, not to worry, he'll take care. That's all he said. And the person left the darshan feeling like, what is this? He'll take care. What does that mean? It's such a simple thing for, simple response for such a complicated matter. They felt they didn't feel at peace in their inner space. So what this person did is they were here actually, and they went and they challenged. They wanted to check in the Akashic reading. So the very next day they went and they asked the balasanth the exact same question. Who is the person they're going to marry in the future? And believe it or not, the balasanth, the answer was completely different from the day before. He gave the name that this person had given to Swamiji during the Energy Darshan. So the future outcome changed. So like this, the Akashic Records, the Akashic readings, they will give you a lot of guidance. They will give you a lot of healing in ways that are unimaginable. I wanted to share one more mystical experience that I had when I went to visit an Akashic reading. I was struggling with something. This was actually last year, just when I had come here. I'd just taken my sannyas vows, and I was settling into life here in the Adinam, and I was feeling some kind of I was just stuck in, how do I relate to Swamiji? Somehow I was feeling like, everyone was talking about Guru Bhakti, the love that you have for your Guru, and he's compassionate and he's loving, and somehow I understood all of that conceptually, but I wasn't feeling like, somehow I was feeling like, oh my God, my love is so one-sided. So there was a question that I asked the balasanth, and the balasanth told me very beautifully that I had to shift my cognition in a particular way to understand that the love that I have for the Master is the love that has come from the Master and is coming back towards him. So there's no such thing as a one-sided love. In any guru-disciple relationship, it's non-existent. It's his compassionate love which has filled you first and then is coming back as love for him. So he's given me this response, and somehow I understood, okay, yes, I need to imbibe this and I need to make this my real understanding. And I left this reading and I was like, okay, he's given me the key. Somehow I just have to really make it settle into my very muscle memory. I have to really imbibe this truth. And so about a month has passed, right, since this Akashic reading has happened. And then I've gone for, it was during, we had a special celebration here, and it was one of the rare moments that we get to go up and see Swamiji for a special energy darshan. I think it was Krishna Janmashtami, and Swamiji was giving out, no, I don't think it was that. Anyhow, it's irrelevant. Whatever energy darshan it was, I went up to see Swamiji and I wasn't expecting anything. Just, simple blessings, whatever, fine. And when I was there, Swamiji looked at me, and as he was looking at me, he kind of looked off to the side and then he said, you have to understand that, he repeated exactly the same words that Kala Bhairava told. He repeated that you have to understand that the love you have for me is the love that comes from me to you, fills you, and then comes back to me as love for me. And I was like, I don't know, gobsmacked. I completely unexpected. It's something that I was asking like a month ago, and I had completely forgotten that I ever asked that. Him saying those words, him verbalizing that to me at that point in time, it was like this donk in my head. It was like that truth just somehow settled. It was like whatever it was that was there in my inner space, it was like, yes, you have to imbibe this, yes, you have to understand it. It was just, it made it click. So, and it's not something that I actually verbalized, right? I've forgotten about the incident itself. And then Swamiji just brought it up like that so beautifully. So, I might have rambled on a bit in this video today, but I just have so much more actually that I want to share about Akashic reading, but I don't want to drag it on for too much longer. So I'll leave this open for any questions, comments. Please leave them beneath, and I'm more than happy to make another video or respond to you guys. And yeah, I know this is just one of many videos talking about life here, living with an avatar, life here, living with living deities, with Kala Bhairava, with such mystical energy that it's like a normal part of our life. So I'll definitely be sharing more in the future, and I look forward to hearing your comments. So thank you. I'll speak to you all soon. Nityanandam.